Hello everybody, Buddy Web Midland, Texas. What we're looking at here is my TikTok, and I want to show you something here on this video I just made called Clues for the Home Depot Tunnel. Had 75,000 views in less than 2 days. Real popular. One comment that I saw many times was, you need to dig, you need to dig. And I kept saying that we don't have to dig because there were 5 police officers proven to have been under my home on the night that I was shot by somebody under my home. That's what I'm going to show you here. Okay, and first of all, here I'm going to show you that the entrance and exit wounds on my foot were 2 inches above ground level. So there wasn't no, oh, you shot through 25 foot of dirt. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard, okay? You know, and we also know that I was standing in front of this cabinet right here when I shot. And what I'm going to show you in a minute, there's absolute proof showing I wasn't shot with my gun. That means somebody under my home had shot me. You know, that's not hard to figure out. This cabinet was never put together right. Door is missing, kickboard's missing, shelves are missing, and the ex-wife had already told me there's a trap door here. That was the trap door. That's where I shot from, and that's how them 5 officers got into my home, okay? And I also want to show you here, Ricky Ronaldo, okay, he said, I used to live in your house. He said, when I was a kid, there were tunnels in the house. Me and my brother would always go down there. And then what I'm showing here is a picture of the Home Depot tunnel there. But that's what Ricky Ronaldo. So somebody under my home was standing there waiting for me to walk by, pulled the trigger, point blank range, by surprise. This was cold-blooded murder, okay? Now I'm going to show you that I wasn't shot with my gun. If I ain't shot with my gun, then that means I'm shot with somebody else's gun. Does that make sense? I think everybody can figure that one out. On the police reports, I'm showing here from Tony Barrett. He's the crime scene investigator. And Tony Barrett says, I contacted evidence from the scene that included a shotgun. Okay, keep in mind, he never said a tripwire. That was the Rosie Rodriguez lie. There never was a tripwire. I didn't even shoot myself. Okay, I wasn't even shot with my gun. Okay, but here he checks in 4 live Remington 12 gauge shotgun shells from the gun. He does not check in an empty shell. Anybody knows anything about them guns, then you're going to know there would have been an empty shell in the gun if I had shot myself, as falsely claimed by the police. Okay. A couple years later, Sergeant Matt Davis checked in empty shells, and then he quit the police department. And that was only because I made a big point of there was no empty shells, and the Midland Police Department were involved in covering up a premeditated capital attempted murder. This is one proof of it right there. There's other proofs, okay? This video isn't about that. This video is about the timestamps and the security cameras that prove these police were in my home, okay? So we're going to go with the timestamps, okay? This is at 11:01 p.m. right here, okay? I'm seen crawling out of my home, and the reason I crawled out and didn't call is because they had stolen my cell phone and disconnected my home phone lines. I had no communication. This was premeditated cold-blooded murder. The nurse documented me at the hospital telling the detective Rodriguez, their sirens going off. The alarms kept going off. Burglar alarms were going off in my attic when I was shot. Detective Rodriguez didn't know the nurse said that, and she said, Buddy said he was locking up for the night, knocked his gun over and shot himself. She made that up. I kid you not, just flat out lied. But at 11:01, keep that in your mind, 11:01, okay? 19 minutes later, these 2 police officers, Woodward and Naylor, show up at 11:01, okay, 19 minutes after 10:42, okay. They were not dispatched from Martin County or Midland County, and their names were illegally omitted from the police report. It took 6 years, $2,000 reward to get them identified. Woodward showed up with a spotlight on looking for me. I got a feeling if he had found me, then I wouldn't be alive right now. Now Woodward is a convicted felon and Naylor is dead, okay, and maybe that's why Naylor's dead, okay. 11:03, 2 minutes after Woodward and Naylor show up, Officer April Chandler's filling out an emergency detention form for the hospital, okay? And she writes right here at 11:03, okay? Mr. Webb showed paranoia to the extent he shot, see, and then she scribbled shot out and then changed her wording to say he caused himself to suffer a gunshot wound to the ankle. Okay, she's saying it was my fault. Somebody broke into my home, cut my phone lines, and shot me. She's probably talking about the trapped burglar, you know, that got trapped in the bathroom is what she was talking about. But here she's trying to blame me. But keep in mind, she started to write, he shot himself, and then she changed her wording knowing that that was a lie. Okay. Okay, the police report for the night of the murder attempt was illegally withheld for 7 years. It was subpoenaed in 2013. I didn't get it till 2019. Okay, the timestamps on this police report, along with the timestamps from the camera, helped prove them officers were under my home. Okay, and here's what happened. Okay, 10:42, I'm seen crawling out. We've already seen that. It's timestamp. 11:01, Woodward and Naylor arriving. We've seen that. 11:03, Davis is listed as being at my home but not seen arriving, and that was on the police report. Right here was Davis. Tony Dickey, Matt Davis, on scene, ONSC, 11:03. Okay, Davis is on scene. He's probably the one that let the burglar out. Okay, that makes sense. Lieutenant Dickey, inside my home 2 minutes later, okay, the lieutenant, okay, and he says, no one in the house, and lots of odd things like booby traps, okay. There was no booby traps in evidence. That was another lie by these police, and once again, Dickey was not seen arriving on the cameras that saw Woodward and Naylor 4 minutes earlier, okay. And so how'd he get my house? He got my house from that trap door that the ex-wife told me about from where I was shot. That's what happened. Probably come in from the Home Depot tunnel. Okay. And then also at 11:18, Greg Chatwell and Kenny Angel were listed as being on scene at my house and not seen arriving. Okay. Greg Chatwell is now a deputy chief with the Midland Police Department. I emailed him a couple days ago, and I'm going to make a video out of that here. Okay, and then 11:19, Dylan Hale is on scene at my house and not seen arriving on the security cameras. And I'm going to show you the front security cameras were disabled at 11:22. Okay, and you know, that was to try to cover up these crimes. I'm going to show you this here. Okay, here it is. Here's the security cameras looking at the yard at 11:22. And then also a few seconds later, 11:22, it's looking at the wall. Okay, they rotated the security camera. I got the video that shows that. They rotated the security cameras, look at the wall. But that didn't happen till 11:22, and by that time, Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale were already at my home, and they wasn't seen arriving on the security cameras. They have questions to answer for investigators about this premeditated capital attempted murder. They know where the underground homes are. They know where the tunnels are. That's why we don't have to dig. Okay, and I'm going to show you one last thing here. This is the main map here. This shows the Home Depot tunnel that was used by the people going to the underground parties in the backyard. You can see it on Google Maps. Is one of the 4 underground homes put in for the Bushes, 1987, all that. It's in my backyard. That's where the parties were going on. Here's where I was shot from under my home. And lots of people documented saying tunnels and underground homes are here. Okay. And then finally, I'm going to close this out. Aaron Packelhofer, a local Freemason in Midland, he wrote me and said, he says, I'm aware of the many corruption accusations against the police department. Okay, but if I can ask, there were 4 people who were murdered, died in your house. What are their names? Okay, Aaron Packelhofer told me 4 people were murdered, died in my house. Who would be my top suspects for them 4 murders? Davis, Dickey, Chatwell, Angel, and Hale. And also Rodriguez and Chandler, okay, and Woodward and Naylor, okay. And because I want to tell you about when I crawled down, I went to 7-Eleven, and Rosie Rodriguez climbed in my truck, started giving me first aid. I thought the cavalry was there. Oh, thank God, you know. I didn't know she was there to cover this murder attempt. And then I find out later, she said she wasn't even there. April Chandler said she climbed in my truck, okay. One of them's a bleached blonde, the other one's an older Hispanic lady. I know who for a fact Rosie Rodriguez climbed in my truck at the 7-Eleven, lied right off the bat. And so that right off the bat, it just tells you that possibly Rosie Rodriguez, one of them was the shooter. They were under my house. Any of these people could be the shooter, aka would-be killer. And this is a premeditated capital attempted murder. Nobody accidentally breaks into a home and accidentally shoots the owner. Okay, that was on purpose. The person that shot me was in no danger. Okay, I didn't know they were there. They could have left out of the same tunnel they come from. They were there to kill me. That's why they cut my phone lines, all that. Actually, Rosie Rodriguez and April Chandler were seen, I believe, planting my stolen phone behind my nightstand. The one was stolen before I was shot. Okay, and so now you understand why nobody has to dig. All we need is some legitimate law enforcement to come in here, ask these officers serious, hard questions, and then let's get multiple murders solved and get these underground homes exposed. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. God bless.